y'all. Wow. I called this. I've been calling this. This is exactly what I've been saying and thinking is going to happen. Everybody's calling it, including, and this is the one I was waiting for, which is I'm a little bit late with this, Fox flippin' News. They're all now saying Biden is the winner of the election. I'm giggling inside. So I'm going to ask, please watch this video with a very, very open mind. First of all, I did not expect to do a video today, guys. In fact, I was going to do a little update video for you guys. I'm having nonstop tech issues. Since the election, it takes 3 or 4 hours to upload a video. Typically, it takes me 30 minutes. And I'm having health stuff. I was going to take the weekend off to try to get everything back in balance. And I knew at some point, I was like, here's the playbook on how this is going to go. Trump's actually won the election. There's going to be fraud behavior. It's going to start to come out. It will be censored. Then they're going to declare Biden as the winner. But I'm also going to tell you what the next steps are, because this is a perfect playbook of exactly what they're trying to do. And if you know how to read this stuff and read between the lines, you can see what is coming. So like I said, I apologize because I look a little disheveled, like this is yesterday's hair. And I just tried to do it quickly and get on here because I wanted to rush this video out to kind of go over the details. But they have given everything to Biden, not just everything. Like they have overgiven to Biden, 290 to 214. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the map. Let's look at the map so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the 2020 US election results. If you look here, let's take a look. It says there's Biden and there's Trump, and you can see Biden 290 with Trump at 214. And it looks like they've given him almost every swing state. Alaska still is undecided, as well as Georgia and North Carolina. But at this point, we were looking at Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Those were big states, as well as, you guys know, Nevada, Arizona. And they are calling it for Biden. And you can see that they have basically declared him the winner. And not only that, guys, all the major news publications are doing this, but then when I saw Fox jump on board, I was like, here we go. I think it's interesting. Listen, as you guys know, I try to be as middle of the road as possible, but there's something I'm not going to be middle of the road of, and I want you guys just to be aware. Keep an open mind. I'm not middle of the road for government corruption or fraud, period. So right now, my heart really does go out to President Trump in the sense that anybody who's crunching the numbers, seeing the data, and seeing what's going on behind the scenes, if you take the time to do that, this doesn't smell right. And I've had people mad at me for saying that because they like Biden. And I'm like, I don't care if you like Biden or Trump. I'd be saying the same thing on behalf of Biden if it were the case. I don't want democracy to die. If I'm giggling, guys, it's because this is how I deal with things. I'm irritated. In the Facebook group, Katie's Insight, like the page on Facebook, and join the group at Katie's Corner, change to Katie's Insight. That'll be changed soon. But I put some memes up that were really funny. There's like this I'll have to show it to you. I'll show it to you maybe in this video or something, but I put up some funny memes about Trump. And I had a lot of people who were irritated, and they found it offensive, or they thought it was disrespectful. And it's like, y'all, this is just how I have to use humor to get through things because this stuff is all so crazy. This is the way I deal with it. And many people, that's how we deal with stuff. So it's nothing's ever meant as a disrespect or a slight or a diss. It's just funny. And Trump in drag with big hair is funny. It's just funny to me. No disrespect to him, but my heart goes out to him and his administration because there is so much rampant fraud. And people have been so conditioned to be on a hate train with Trump that they were totally fine with democracy dying as long as their narrative is the one that's chosen. And it's really disheartening to me. Now, I'm not gonna, this is what's hard. What's hard is, I know I say this to you guys often, and it's the honest to God truth. So please believe me when I'm telling you guys, I really am middle of the road. I don't like any of these people. All the information I'm going to tell you is literally just from me doing my own research, weighing common sense, and trying to get to the truth of the matter. And the truth of the matter is, I'm watching everybody on the left and the right. I'm watching the Republicans who were butt kissing for Trump, and everyone is turning on him right now. And you know what that tells me personally? I don't care if you like Trump or you hate Trump. It's not about, or if you want Biden to win or you don't. It's not about that. But what it tells me is there are clear signs, evidence, and indication of corruption and election fraud going on. and watching almost everybody in the government jump ship on Trump, I'll tell you what this tells me. They're all corrupt. Get them all out. And this is what I've been saying and screaming and stressing on this channel for how long. And this is the message I want to give to you guys. Watching everybody turn on him, I got to tell you, my heart goes out to him. I'll explain why. You might hate him, you might this, you might that. At the end of the day, Donald Trump is still a human being and a person with feelings. Even if you think X, Y, and Z about him, he is. I have an understanding of what it's like to be going through something in the public eye, or not in his level, may God not in his level, but I have an understanding of what it is to, have some kind of success in a setting where you are known to some degree-ish. I say it lightly because nothing like him. And people are constantly making up lies and they're convincing everybody, and everybody just believes what a horrible person you are, no matter how much truth you have on your side. I don't care how strong you are. That's a very difficult, lonely position to be in. And he's at the top of that scenario in this country. And what I'm referring to, I've talked about a little bit about this, guys, but as I said, I was on YouTube before. I had made a successful channel before on YouTube, and I talked about a lot of controversial things. And in talking about controversial things and talking about the health issues and trying to find what was going on with me and opening up about that, it left a lot of people open to come at me. And the big thing was people said, I'm not sick, I'm faking it, I'm doing this for attention. And, I was really just trying to be a decent person doing the right thing. That was always my goal. That was always my agenda. I made mistakes, just like Trump makes mistakes. But people just came at me in the worst ways, and I watched everyone turn on me. Even people in my real life I knew. It was horrible. I came out of that really strong, learning how the internet works and learning how to deal with this stuff a lot more. But I can, on some level, I know it's different, but on some level, I can relate. And so my heart goes out to him, because this must be a difficult time to know you're watching democracy die. You're watching your country die, and people are cheering it on. And the worst part is, I'm going to be open. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I think. I think liberals are good people. Hear me out, Republicans. I think liberals are good people. They are people who are very empathic. They don't want bullying, and they care about the causes presented to them. They want equality for minorities. Those are good things, guys. Those are good things. I do think the left has done an incredible job of manipulating the left and their empathy to make them think this is what the left is fighting for. And at the end of the day, the left is leading them to the slaughter and doing all the things to hurt women and children in the background. And the Republicans, I think the Republicans, I also think a lot of the Republican base uses the Republicans as well. They use them for their spirituality and their empathy. It's just in different places. And what's happened with both sides of this very evil, corrupt coin, they've convinced us the other one is evil, and we're just fighting with each other. And then in the background, both the Republicans and the Democrats are holding hands, skipping off into the sunset, letting horrible things happen to women and children that go missing. So when I see this, I get angry, because I'm watching people that I know, people who are smart people, good people on both sides, be manipulated. And that's what I see. I'm going to go into this because I do want to go into, I have a little bit of information, so I'll just give you exactly like some of what's being talked about right now when it comes to all of this and what is happening. So this is from CBS News. It says CBS News projects, as everybody else does, Joe Biden has secured enough electoral votes to become the 46th president of the United States, defeating President Trump and capturing the White House after a bitter campaign that exposed deep divides in the country. Now the president-elect Biden took an insurmountable lead in Pennsylvania on Saturday morning, the fifth day of vote counting after Election Day. His victory in the Keystone states gave him 273 electoral votes from states where a winner had been projected, surpassing the 270 majority needed to win. So it looks like Pennsylvania was one of the things that put him over the edge. I am honored and humbled by the trust the American people have placed in me and the Vice President-elect Harris, Biden said. In the face of unprecedented obstacles, a record number of Americans voted, proving once again that democracy beats deep in the heart of America. Watching all the corruption and fraud go on, that is absolutely incorrect. Biden, you and your people are destroying democracy, and you know it, and the Republicans are on standby to be right there with you. Americans flooded the streets in cities like New York and Washington to celebrate the win, with large crowds gathering in Times Square and near the White House to loudly mark Trump's defeat. Don't you wish they'd do that for all the hurting that's going on with the women and children? But you know, that's the thing. The television box to your phone doesn't tell you to care about that. We have what I call in this country selective empathy. We only have empathy where we're told to have it. And what I'm so angry at that the left has done is they've said, go along with our agenda, or you're an N-word. When I say N-word, that's a word of people who maybe were in Germany that weren't very nice. You're an R-word. That's people who don't really like a lot of minorities and aren't really nice to them. Or you're a C-word and you're an S-word. Those are thoughts. Those are certain areas of what would you call that? Of a government thought on how to run things that don't always work out for people, where everybody is equal and given equal things and people can't rise up. And that's what you guys, and I feel like that's a lot of what is going down with the liberal, I'm going to call it what it is, when I see it. Everybody has an agenda. The right has agendas, a left has the agendas. And the left, the agenda is you're an N-word or an R-word if you don't believe us. And the fact that people don't want to be N-words or R-words, that's a good thing. But they're being manipulated. I'm going to call it like I see it, guys. This is such big manipulation. And the fact is, it hasn't yet come into the complete conscious knowing of the American public and really the world as to what's going on behind the scenes with people like Jeff and his airplanes. Mr. Trump immediately refused to acknowledge the victory, vowing to continue challenging the validity of legal cast ballots in several states. The Trump campaign has launched a flurry of lawsuits in an attempt to delay the counting of votes, but the litigation has thus far been unsuccessful. Biden's victory is historic, as his running mate, Kamala Harris, I don't like her, guys, will be the first woman and first Black and Asian American person to serve as vice president. I'm happy to have that representation. That's wonderful. I just wish it wasn't her. I don't like her for many reasons. So that's where we're at right now. And then this is where I was just like, here it is. Fox News called it. Fox News right here. Biden wins presidency. Trump denied second term in White House. Fox News projects. So I'll just go over a little bit of this and I'm going to give my insight and my thoughts as to what is coming. I can't say, it's hard. I'm not shocked and I'm not surprised. I saw this coming, but I am disappointed. I just didn't know when this was going to drop. I am disappointed. We'll go over the playbook in a minute. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden has defeated President Trump, denying him a second term after a bitter campaign and a dramatic, prolonged vote count in battleground states that sparked a flurry of lawsuits. The Fox News decision desk projected Saturday that Biden will win the state of Nevada and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, giving the former vice president the electoral votes he needs to win the White House. I'm honored and humbled that the American people trust me and Harris, Biden said in a statement. In the face of unprecedented obstacles, you mean fraud, a record number of Americans voted. Fraud. Proving once again that democracy beats it deep in the heart of America. This kitty sniffer makes me so mad. He added, with the campaign over, it's time to put the anger and the harsh rhetoric behind us and come together as a nation. I don't trust him. And I'm even looking at this going, Fox News. Fox News. So here's the thing. The left, I know a lot of you hate the Republicans, you hate Fox News. If they're so awful, and they are, don't you think it's weird that now they're jumping on this train too? Isn't that looking weird to anybody? He added, with the campaign over, it's time to put the anger and harsh rhetoric behind us and come together as a nation. A year and a half after launching the White House bid, Biden secured enough states to pull him over the threshold of 270. For Trump, the defeat comes 4 years after a stunning upset when he came from behind in 2016 and outperformed the polls in a victory against Hillary Clinton. That's another thing I haven't even gotten into, guys. All of the polls were wrong. They had been wrong for months. Fire all the pollsters 2 years in a row. What does that tell you when they're so vastly wrong 2 years in a row? What that tells you is that's media manipulation and gaslighting, in my opinion. So it says, but in a statement Saturday, Trump did not concede and instead vowed to continue the fight. The simple fact is the election is far from over. Joe Biden has not been certified as the winner of any states, let alone any of the highly contested states headed for mandatory recounts or states where our campaign has valid and legitimate legal challenges that could determine the ultimate victor, President said. Beginning Monday, our campaign will start prosecuting our case to ensure Election laws are fully upheld and the rightful winner is seated, Trump added. We're going to get into that later, guys. The president has launched a number of legal challenges over ballots counting in battleground states, with his campaign filing suit in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Georgia, Michigan, and Nevada, as the states continue to tally ballots sent by mail. I'm on the verge of sneezing. I'm sorry, I'm scratching my nose. Trump, his campaign and surrogates have spread allegations of fraud and voting and ballot counting in various states, although solid proof has not yet emerged. There's more and more proof coming out. I actually have a little bit of information. We're going to talk about this. In addition, Georgia's Secretary of State signaled Friday that the state is headed toward a recount given the razor-thin margins of votes there favoring Biden. With strong focus on virus since the worst pandemic in a century swept across the nation 8 months ago, Biden was able to keep the spotlight on the president's record, largely preventing Trump from making the 2020 campaign a choice election. Amid national protests and unrest over our inequality and other nasty Supreme Court nomination battles in the closing days of the campaign, Biden kept his eye on the pandemic and the economy hit hard by it. Biden, who laid low for the first couple of months after the pandemic, forced Americans to self-isolate, was ridiculed by the president who claimed he was hiding in his basement and his home in Wilmington, Delaware. But ultimately, the strategy worked, keeping the electorate's focus on the president headlining of the worsening crisis, although highlighting Trump's divisive style of governing. The Democratic pledge to be a uniter, willing to reach across the aisle to find common ground. Biden was able to resist withering attacks by Trump and his surrogates over the record in politics stretching nearly half century. He also deflected a barrage of attacks targeting him and his son, Hunter, that accused the Biden family of unsubstantial corruption. No, most of that is coming out to be true. Again, it's so shady. They're all so shady. Ugh. Ugh. The road ahead for the president-elect, who will soon turn 78, will be far from easing, considering he has a hard time even putting together sentences. By the way, I love it. They said he has a stuttering problem. No, that looks pretty neurological to me. That's more than stuttering. When you just start trailing off from a sentence and talking about you like when little kids play with your leg hair in the pool, that's more than stuttering. Again, I don't like kitty sniffers. He must cope with titanic challenges never faced to this magnitude by an incoming commander-in-chief. Compounding the enormous task ahead, Biden likely will have to deal with a Republican Party that may be in no mood to compromise, and with the progressive base of his own party that will almost certainly try to push the incoming president to the left. To the left, to the left. I'm sorry, that Beyonce thing is in my head. Box to the left. Biden's victory comes 5 years after he passed on a White House run as he re-healed from the death of his eldest son, Beau. A year later, blah, 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 there's a bunch of stuff. I don't really want to get into this, but okay, so that's what the media is saying. I'm going to give you guys my breakdown and where things are going, because you know, those of you who watch this channel know, I make a lot of different financial and political predictions that come true. Not all of them, but I give you my assessment. I'm fairly accurate. Hold on, I need to get balanced. Sniff some velvet petals. Wait, one more. Let's get some sunset glow before I begin. By the way, if you hear that annoying hum, this is Oklahoma. And no matter what time of year it is, every Saturday at noon, it is literally noon, the alarms sound, the tornado sirens, to test them for like a minute or two. So I hope you guys can't pick up on that. Hold on, I'm gonna look at my sound just to see. No, I don't think you can. It's like this, woo. So yeah, but tornadoes here are so violent and crazy. Tornadoes here are so big and destructive. We have the biggest and most destructive tornadoes in the world right where I live. And it's funny because I came from Kansas City. That's Tornado Alley, and so I'm used to them, but it's nuts here. It is, no, they don't play around, and these people don't have basements. So not most of them don't. In Oklahoma, we're just like, why are there no basements with all of these tornadoes? But so that's always something that happens if you ever hear that in the background. But okay, let me give my analysis. I think this has been perfectly orchestrated. Perfectly. I'm going to say it again. I do not take a side. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm anti-government corruption, anti-government fraud, and I'm anti-big media because it's all there to manipulate us. I don't like any of these people. Let me tell you what I see, though. This is just from common sense, my own research, and trying to be as unbiased as possible. There is a lot of evidence coming out of fraud, and Trump is putting together a team of lawyers across the country. I know a lot of this because you guys know my lawyer who helped me, one of the top brilliant minds. He is actually in a situation right now where he is in the middle of some of this when it comes to what is going on. As a result, he is getting some of the top, most brilliant minds in the country in this situation, inside of it. Now, let me tell you what I think is going to happen and what I think has happened. I think that the left used the virus. By the way, I'm not saying anything about the virus. Hear me out. So please don't assume what I'm saying, because this can be a very tricky subject where people can get very triggered, and I get why they get triggered, but I'm just asking you, please hear me out fully on this situation. So with all of this, I think the left has used the virus for their own very negative agendas. We have seen it over the last few months repeatedly with Pelosi trying to get more money than what she really needs for state and local government because she wants to bail out her state from her horrible policies where California is just a crap show where they're all homeless and on fire and the taxes are so high nobody can actually afford to live there anymore because their policies don't work. And we've seen this happen over the last few months, this corruption coming out, and we have seen the lies and manipulation from Pelosi and others when it comes to just stimulus. And it's interesting because in following stimulus news like we've been doing on this channel, we've also been seeing, and it's been coming to light, some other things. So here's what I find very, very interesting. How interesting is it that Nancy Pelosi came out and said, remember Pelosi, nasty old Nance, said, I'm not going to piecemeal to help with any part of stimulus, but she did emergency piecemealing for the post office. She wouldn't do it to help us with unemployment, with stimulus checks, with rent forgiveness, with mortgage forbearance, with student loans. But she did it for the post office to make sure more people could do mail-in voting. The same woman that encourages people during a pandemic to go out and protest because that's the safe thing to do during a pandemic, and I'm all for protesting. You know, the same person, the same media that says go out and protest and go out and do the R words where you go out and it's protesting, just not nice. Infer. I don't want YouTube getting mad at me. The same people who are doing that say it's not safe enough to go vote in person. Well, those two things scientifically don't match up. I'm not talking about the pandemic. I'm talking about the narratives being spun by these people. Then, do you guys remember? This was just a handful of weeks ago. Pelosi did a big push, and we talked about this on this channel. She did a big push when it came to making sure she could pass legislation where they could do more determination on being able to overturn the president or get him out if he isn't declared physically or mentally fit or capable. And a lot of people thought that was because she's always, you know, she and Trump are always trading jabs and stuff, and people thought that that's what that was about. A lot of people had that. That's what their insight was. And I said, you know what, though? This could also have to do with Biden if Biden gets elected. Because obviously, something is very wrong with Biden. And by the way, that's coming from somebody who has neurological health issues, who has health issues. I have memory issues. You guys don't see this because I'm really good at talking, and you guys don't know the sick version of me. The sick version of me is really, it was still, I can talk in autopilot, and I can come across, I think, very confident and assured of myself, but I had a difficult time reading and comprehending information. So when I was that sick. So I want to say, I'm saying this in compassion to somebody's health. Something is obviously wrong with Biden. And we've also heard the left slip up in many times when they're introducing Kamala Harris. They'll say the next president of the United States. I'll tell you what the playbook is. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I think from all the information we're seeing and the pieces coming together and now fitting. I think the left has done everything they can to rig this election, which is why Trump was in the lead and suddenly, Biden comes out of nowhere. And these votes, 100,000 votes for Biden and none for Trump out of nowhere. All of these things start to happen. They put it in place so they knew they couldn't lose. And they put the right people in place to make sure that was going to happen, in my opinion. Then they knew, let's give it a week or so. And at some point then, we'll declare Biden the winner when we think things have calmed down a little bit or that the public is just exhausted with this situation. Get to that point of kind of public exhaustion, right? And from there, I think they think now it's just an easy path forward to the White House, and that most likely at some point, Biden will be out, Kamala will be in, because Kamala is really who they want. She is the left extremist who will do a lot of the extreme stuff. I don't understand why so many people think she's wonderful when she did so much harm to putting more minorities in prison. I don't know, that's a hypocrisy. That's a double standard that doesn't make sense. But then again, when they're spinning narratives, they don't have to make sense. They just have to tell you what to think and how to think and what to do and how to do it. And then you are good or bad if you don't do what we say you're supposed to. And that's typically how it works. These are people that just do as they're told. You know, they haven't really grown up from the mentality of when you're young, you think your parents are right because they have to be the smartest and they're these amazing people. And a lot of people never grow out of that and they never go into themselves and learn how to think and be cognitively aware and weigh information correctly. It took me a long time to learn how to do that. I was somebody, like I said, I'm kind of a former-ish New Ager who just, went solely off of just intuition and without logic and thought with a lot of stuff. And I learned that is not the way to do things, even though intuition is great. It's also another skill that you have to learn how to use. You can't just have all emotion and intuition. So I then, in my later years, in my, later 20s, mid-later 20s, started learning more about like how to cognitively weigh information logically and unbiased, stuff we're not taught in school. So here's what I think. I think this was going to happen. Trump's going to win. They're going to be fraudulent, like I said, and they're going to take it away and declare Biden the winner. Here's the thing. We've got wild cards coming. Here's the thing that people love and hate about Trump, aside from many other things. Trump is a big personality, and he's a very powerful, charismatic person. Love him or hate him, I'm just telling you where it is. Trump is going to be one of the few people who won't back down from the evils of these people in government. He is strong-willed, and he is stubborn, sometimes to a fault, but he's not going to back down. He's got some of the top brilliant minds working on this. They're going to gather the evidence of what they need, and it's going to go probably the Supreme Court. He's going to have the top brilliant minds working on this. They're going to get this election overturned. And I don't even think it's going to have to be like fancy maneuvering or manipulation, like in a business sense, right? Or a legal sense. They're going to be able to present the information, the evidence as it needs to be, to support that Trump has won and that there's been fraudulent activity on the other side. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, they're still doing recounts. Recounts are going to take a while. In fact, I think a lot of the recounts don't even start until December. And the legal process is a long process. You guys know I just went through something where I learned a little bit about this. And I learned it's not quick like you see on television shows. It's not like it all happens within a day or a week or even a month. One of the situations that I can't really talk too much about, but like, for instance, in my legal situation, one of the things that, I've been looking at and you kind of have to keep track of is that it's going to take a long time. And the other thing is sometimes it doesn't matter how much evidence you have against somebody else. You have to know what to present, how to present it in just the right way. I just learned a lot about the legal process and how to be a lawyer. It's fascinating. A lot of these people are brilliant. My lawyer, brilliant dude. I like him too because he comes across super nice and super humble. So if you met him, like you would know he's smart, but you wouldn't really think he's like this, this bad A ninja. You know what I mean? And he is. He's just this like, he does all this in crazy, jujitsu, mental gymnastics, and can figure things out. Just a brilliant person, but also super nice. You rarely find that in lawyers. But anyway, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this is what's going to happen, but this is going to take time. I told you guys we're not going to know who the president is until January. Even though they might declare Biden the winner, that's not the reality. That's just what they're putting forth and what they want people to believe. That's the narrative they're spinning. This is going to take time. This is probably going to go well into January. But just when you think everything is secure, I think Trump's going to come in at the last minute with some wild cards. And I think it's very possible he's going to go overtake this situation and be back in the White House. That's just how I see it. I'm not saying this because I'm super pro-Trump or he has to win or I'm going to freak out. That's not the case. I'm just showing you guys logistically and legally. And I will say a couple things. Love Trump or hate Trump. I think the kind of personality Trump has is the kind of personality that's needed for change in this world. Because the powers that be are so evil and so awful and so ugly and are so terrifying to so many people, both sides of the spectrum, both sides, that you would need somebody with this type of temperament to be able to go after him. Not perfect person, has made mistakes, not saying he hasn't. But I think that's what you need to be able to lead the charge against the kind of really bad evil we're talking about at the top and the stuff. that's behind the scenes. So obviously we're going to have to wait to see what happens, but that's what I think will happen. And I want to say a couple other things about this. I've talked about this a little bit. If you guys watch me regularly, you know I'm a super spiritual person. Now, my spirituality, it's my own eclectic blend of all kinds of crap I get from places. The older I get, the more I think I look Christian, but I have tons of New Age beliefs, and I love Buddhism, I love Taoism, I love some stuff from Hinduism, and I love studying ancient religions and cultures. Like, that's why I love Ancient Aliens. Oh my gosh, the guy with the hair. He's my boo. That is my boo. I forget what his name is. Something George Tsuzulo. I can't pronounce it. He would never watch my content because he's busy, but love you, boo. I just call you hair. And that's because I love your hair. I love all of the styling you and your people do. It's just fantastic. And then you dress like Indiana Jones. Oh my gosh, I can't love Ancient Aliens more. It cracks me up, and I love the show. And I love thinking that there are nice, versions of humans out there who have everybody's best interest and aren't turds. Because we have too many turds. Hold on. Yes, Candles by Jen. So I want to impart this on people, because I've heard a lot of this lately, and I think this really rings true. If you remember when Trump won the first time, the left broke down. We had screaming, crying. It's even remember that video of that girl when, what's her name? The SCOTUS died recently. God rest her soul. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she was screaming and crying, and Ruth, why'd you have to die? All you had to do was blah. And I was just like, girl, she couldn't help when she dies. But we saw a lot of that breakdown. We're not seeing that on the Republican side. And it's because people who see what's going on or are Republican, we, have a lot more emotional control of ourselves, I guess. But something I want to impart on people who are sad either way, right? No matter who your candidate is. I'm going to tell you what I do that helps me get through the day. And I saw some videos on this and I was like, this is fantastic. Remember, I'm somebody who probably looks Christian, but is also has a lot of super New Age beliefs. Okay? By the way, any of my beliefs, these are my beliefs. I'm not going to sit here and say that science or fact can back any of them up. These are my tools I use to help me navigate the world around me. There is no church, no organization, no religion, no spirituality I claim or that I go to. This is just what I do myself. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of prayer. I do a lot of trying to manifest positively, but I also do a lot of like the Eckhart Tolle stuff, like be present, that type of teaching. So here's what I try to remember. No matter what happens, from my perspective, you don't have to believe this. There is some positive higher power force out there, whatever you want to call it. God, universe, love, source, whatever, right? Buddha, Krishna, whatever it is that you want to, Allah, whatever you want to call it. There's something out there that I feel like is positive, that's a positive higher version of where we are and where we are at in our consciousness. And I think that good guiding force is something that is ultimately trying to lead all of us in the right direction on some level. That is what I believe personally. And I always try to remember when things happen. So like, for instance, I was going to make a video today kind of updating you guys. I'm so frustrated. This whole month, I've been trying to build this channel. It's nothing but setbacks, either in my health or technology. I don't know when this video is going up because it's taking hours to upload anything right now. We had the ice storm. I've had nothing but challenges, and I can't do what I need to do to really build this channel the way I did before. And then my body's just not working very well. I am not feeling well today, but I'm still trying to get this out. And this is the conclusion I've come to about the elections and about even what's going on in my life. Number one, I fully believe everything happens for a reason. Number two, there's a silver lining and something to learn in everything. Sometimes we just can't always see it right away. And number three, everything is working out the way that it needs to. And number four, everything will work out the way it needs to. This is how I view things. So I look at this and I say, let's entertain that Biden wins or Trump wins, whoever it is, whoever you like or dislike. At the end of the day, there is a higher positive power that's trying to guide everybody that will try to make things right for everyone. All we have to do, in my opinion, is to be open to that in whatever form you feel or not to feel, or if you don't, that's okay too. More power to you. This is just how I live. This is what I do. Number two, again, like I said, there are things to learn. How amazing would it be if in this situation, Trump's able to do some kind of massive comeback? How many of us have have the crap beaten out of us, not just 2020 itself, which we all know is just a cluster, but in general, over the last several years? My generation was brainwashed. Everybody has to go to college and get a college degree. You're a loser. We all come out. There are very few jobs. We're all in debt. We can't get work. Our parents don't believe us. And all the boomers just think we're lazy and get out of the house and we're living out of our cars and working 5 jobs. It's been hard. I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I was one of the ones that saw it. I saw it before everybody else did, and I got out of college because I was going to get a bunk degree, local performance, a degree in opera singing. That would have gotten me far. And I really feel for the people who put themselves in insurmountable debt starting out, and now they're stuck. You know, I feel for them. We've had a tough go of it. We've had a tough go of it, and 2020 has been even worse. And even in my situation, as I told you guys, 2019, I was going to die. And I shouldn't have been alive. And I was able to figure it out by the grace of God and a couple of wonderful people. You know, my 2 practitioners I work with, and then my cardiologist, who's phenomenal. Pulled myself out of it. By the time I felt like I could start working, boom, here comes the virus. My job shut down. Then I try to, you know, life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I make lemonade. I make that successful channel. Just as it starts making money, boom, that's taken away from me. Everything I worked for. Now I'm trying to restart this. Boom, tech issues, weather, health. And I'm looking at this going, I know this isn't just me, obviously. This is all of us. Welcome. If you didn't get it before 2020, welcome. 2020 is the year things are crashing down on almost everybody in all of our situations, right? And so I'm looking at this and I'm just going, there's a reason for all of this. There's a reason. And maybe the reason that all of this is happening the way it is that something better can come out of it. No matter what side of the spectrum you believe on or what narrative you choose to believe. Something good will come out of this simply because it has to. And we will all learn from this. And I think one of the best things to come out of this is to see that all of this is corrupt. I've been saying it for months. And the more you really break this evidence down, the more you look at it, the more I'm being proven right. This is all crap, guys. And I'm sad. By the way, I don't want it to be that way. But look at this. Look at this. Even when you have all the Republicans and Fox News turning on him, well, to the liberals, the Democrats, those are the ultimate evil people. So when the ultimate evil people just start to side with you, is that it's Trump that's just so horrible? Or is it that all those people at the top, both sides, and the media on both sides, are so nasty and so corrupt that this is what's happening? And I think we have our answer, unfortunately. And this will work out in a way that's good for everybody. And I'm going to continue to hold that thought and try to help create that reality, if nothing for myself. And at least in that way, I've done my part. No matter how this works out, it's going to be okay. And that's what's interesting. I feel like one thing I've seen, and this is no disrespect in here, but there's a big divide between the Republicans and the liberals in the sense a lot of the liberals are atheists, or they have more of that mentality. Nothing wrong with that, right? In fact, that's smart because that mentality helps you break down the BS in religions, and that's needed. But then you have the Republicans who are more on the religious side. And so it's interesting to see a lot of the reactions are, it seems like based off of people who live by some type of, take this word with a grain of salt, faith, and those who don't. Now, when I say faith, I'm not necessarily talking about in the religious context. I mean faith in the sense of you go forward having a knowing that, you know, whatever positive higher power is there is in control and things will work out the way they need to, even if you can't see it, even if there's no evidence of that. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And by the way, I know some liberals do, and I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying it's interesting to watch the dynamics and the interactions. And I think that's it for now. Also, I don't feel well. I'm going to have to stop filming. I really was going to take a day off, but I was like, I gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please give me a big, giant, fat thumbs up, because I have fat little, look at my hands, they're so tiny. They are, they're like a kid. Please give me a big thumbs up, like the video, subscribe, hit notifications. See me notified daily about elections, politics, stimulus, everything in between. Sound off in the comments, boo-boos, I want to hear everything. And please, guys, share this content with as many people as you know that are struggling right now. People on unemployment, waiting for unemployment, stimulus checks, SBO and immigrant issues, everything in between. I want to hear it. Let me know what's going on. And also, guys, please share this content with people you think it could help right now or that might jive with it. And guys, the more you like, subscribe, comment, notifications, share the content, the channel grows, the more the channel grows, the more things I can do to do for you guys. I give away $100 gift cards. Very simple to be eligible. Like the video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, and you are entered. Make sure and do it for every video that you see. And the more comments you leave, the more chances you have to win. So good luck. And a quick update on that, guys. Because I've had health issues, I'm going to announce 2 winners on Monday to make up for everything. And I just can't be consistent. This is so frustrating. I hope my body gets back in order so I can be out here and be getting that information to you guys and being your champion. And thank you for everybody being patient with me. And also Facebook, Katie's Insight, like the page, join the group, Katie's Corner. We are sharing all kinds of information and helping each other with election, politics, stimulus, everything in between. So come hang out. It's an awesome party and I would love to see you there. Okay, guys, I'm going to go literally just rest in bed and get this video up. Take care, blessings, lots of love. Mwah. Hugs, snuggles, kisses, and I will speak to you guys soon. Take care.